this year.
First pitch swinging, line drive, he's done it. John Means has no-hit the Mariners. They go! Brown fakes, dishes, Kyrie going for the 50-piece. Irving has 50!
Pressure from the Steelers. Mayfield in trouble, and he's going to be taken down. Who else but T.J. Watt?
First downs on this drive. Heineke, end zone, McLaurin, touchdown!
Torres drives that ball center field, hit deep, going back near the wall. Wilkerson, maybe, nope, goodbye, home run. Get him out of there! Don't throw to him.
I never seen anything like
Put
it.
up four fingers.
I've never seen anything like it.
He is just tearing the Orioles apart.
Jonathan Taylor, goodbye, touchdown, Indy, as he crossed the tape at the goal line. 78 yards.
And here we go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Department Podcast. I'm Stephen Bologna, joined alongside Jesse Norman and Stephen Clark, and it is officially NBA basketball playoffs, and it's going to be an exciting time. We just got past the play-ins. It's currently Thursday, April 14th. We are on our final two play-in games to see who's going to match up with the one seeds. A lot of injuries going into the playoffs. A lot of teams that barely squeaked in, didn't make it. But first off, how we doing?
I'm good. Playoff basketball's around, and it might not be a happy time for all of the members of the Sports Department Podcast, but it's happy for half of us. So 50%, it's cool.
Nothing wrong with 50%.
Yeah, baseball's in full effect now.
Yeah,
sports are rolling along. I couldn't be happier.
Jesse, you excited for the Nets to make a run?
I'm pretty excited. Let's hope. I think we either win a championship or lose first round. I don't think there's any in between.
So let's go over these first round matchups. At the moment, like I said, we are awaiting the final play-in game to see who's going to be facing the number one seed. So in the East, the good old Miami Heat secure the number one seed. They're going to take on the winner of the Cavs and the Hawks. Clark's hoping for the Cavs, but let's be honest, it's probably be the Hawks.
I am 100%. 100. I don't want to verse Trae Young.
Oof.
Oh, well, the Cavs, yeah, and the Cavs are
they're forcing Jared Allen back too. They're forcing him back.
100%.
Well, they need him to.
Yeah.
Gosh. Philly at the 4 seed is going to be taking on Toronto without Matisse Thybulle in Toronto. That is for games 3 and 4 and potentially 6. The Bucks will be facing off with the Bulls. That's the 3 and the 6 seed. The Netsies going to be traveling to Boston, like Jesse's job, to face the Celtics at the 2 seed in the West. Boston's.
Oh. I forgot for a minute.
The Suns, they clinch the number 1 seed again. They take on the winner of the Clippers and the Pelicans. Dallas, without Luka for most likely a couple games in the series, will be taking on Utah at the 5. The Golden State Warriors taking on the Nuggets, and the Memphis Grizzlies at the 2 seed taking on the Timberwolves. And man, I hate Pat Beverly. He is fucking annoying. So what series do we want to start here? Let's let Jesse pick first.
I think the most interesting one as of right now that people want to talk about is Toronto-Philly.
Yeah, let's stay in the East then. We'll go through all the East now. Then
sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's start with the 4-5. Those are always the closest ones. The 2 seed was up for grabs pretty much for anybody between the Celtics, Bucks, 76ers. Nobody wanted it, and that's definitively how I feel. Nobody wanted the 2 seed. And Philly got definitively the harder end of the stick because I would much rather play Chicago than have to play Brooklyn or play Toronto. Chicago is the fake team out of that.
Fake and injured too.
Yeah. Yeah. So Toronto and Philly is so interesting because of the Thybulle thing. And you could think, Tybulle's not that big of a deal in a game 3 and 4 if he's, a rotation piece. But their rotation is already really tight. They're giving DeAndre Jordan and Paul Millsap legit minutes in their rotation during the regular season. That's not going to cut it in the playoffs. They're probably going to go down to a 7 to 8 man rotation And if you don't have Tybalt, that means on those games 3 and 4, you're probably running Embiid 45 minutes, Harden probably 42 minutes, Maxey probably 42 minutes, and like they're gonna be gassed.
You talk about, obviously one side has the big names. You have the James Harden, you have potential MVP Joel Embiid. The Tybalt thing is going to hurt because he is not fully vaccinated. He only has one shot. Didn't want to wait for the Johnson & Johnson to clear all that up, but
honestly, good.
Yeah, he will not be playing in Toronto. Now with Toronto, I mean, you get Pascal Siakam, you have Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, Clark's old boy, Precious Achiuwa, and Scotty Barnes is a superstar in the making.
I think the biggest discrepancy here too is you have Nick Nurse as the coach of the Toronto Raptors, and you have Doc Rivers as the coach of the 76ers.
Nick Nurse
and that
awesome.
Is a massive gap. I don't think there's any argument that Nick Nurse is probably a top 5 coach in the NBA. And Doc Rivers is, at this stage in his career and where the NBA is a bottom 5 coach in the NBA as of right now.
Yeah, but no, this game is just interesting around the whole vaccination status. I mean, and also if I'm looking at like every team in this playoff and every player, James Harden and the Sixers have the most pressure, I think, out of any player and of any team in this whole thing. Because, they sat with Ben Simmons this whole time, and Simmons was sitting out with them, and they pull off this huge trade to get Harden from Brooklyn, and all chips are all in on this one. And if they don't go far winning a championship or getting at least to the finals, then it's a failure for this team. I think it tarnishes Harden's legacy a little bit because he got out of Houston, he got out of Brooklyn, he's finally where he wants to be, and he doesn't at least reach the finals. So this is a big series, and if Toronto can knock him out first round, it just tarnishes it even more.
Well, and the other thing about Philly is their window is already like closing before it even really started because of how Harden's looked and his age, and you never know what's going to happen with Embiid and when his health will out of nowhere decline, as centers usually go through. And they don't have any moves to make anymore. The only thing on their roster that they have anymore to move that is a positive asset at this point is Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
They desperately need.
They can sign maybe a mid-level free agent. Like they can get a guy in free agency, but for the most part, like this is their team, and they aren't getting any younger, and they aren't adding any younger pieces. There's nobody on this team besides, once again, Tyrese Maxey that is going to get any better and not get any worse, probably. So this kind of needs to be Philly's year, which I don't think anybody thinks it is right now.
I'm with you there, Jesse. I think depending on Toronto, what Pascal Siakam do you get? Do you get start of the year Pascal Siakam, where he was just really, really bad? Or like you said, Jesse, post All-Star break Siakam, where he's been the Siakam of old. Coaching
dropping triple doubles.
Yeah, the coaching thing is huge. Nick, I mean, since Kawhi left, it's like, Kawhi left, they're going to back to tanking, but they've been so good really since Kawhi was there and the years after. Even after losing Kyle Lowry this year, they're still a 5 seed. So that is something to be scary of. Honestly, I think the winner of this series is who can win a game on the road. If Philly can win a game on the road without their best defender, that's huge. But then if Toronto comes in and takes game 2, and now it's 1-1 going into Toronto without your best defender, then you go down 3-1. So
and Toronto's not an easy place to play.
No. Are they allowing fans in?
I think they are for the playoffs. I think they're letting them in.
So it should be a good series. Do we have a prediction? And in how many games?
I'm going to go Philly, and I say in 6.
I'm going to go Philly in 7. I have a hard time seeing them win 6 in Toronto.
I also say Philly in 7.
All right. So we're pretty much on the same page there.
Yeah. So
I think Doc legitimately, I think Nurse and the Doc discrepancy can quite literally cost the 76ers 2 games. Like
That's okay. I like that.
I think Nurse will do enough at the halftime and Doc will not.
Cool. I respect it. So let's move on to Jesse's second favorite team, the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going to be taking on the banged up Chicago Bulls, who started the year great. Best record in the league for a while. Then the injury bug hit, and they finish as the 6th. Do we see them having a chance of winning a game in the series?
This is Milwaukee 4, Milwaukee 5. I don't think there's much to speak about this. The biggest thing is Zach LaVine going to leave if they get bounced right away?
I think he's smart enough to realize what they had there.
That they're building.
Now Bucks.
The Vucevic trade is bad for them. Like now, Wendell Carter is legitimately already better than him, and they had to give up first rounders to get Vucevic and also his big contract.
There's a big contract.
So
Bucks in 4. You're going against Giannis. It's it's hard. It's hard to go against Giannis unless you have a legit lockdown defender. And that's even hard enough because Giannis is so agile for a big man and just moves all over. Bucks in 4.
The
Bucks in 4, Bucks in 5, one or the other.
Bulls are plus 400 to win the series, and the Bulls are 19-22 on the road this season. It's not going to be tough to play in the defending champions' house. I'm going to say Bucks in 5. I think the Bulls survive when they go down 3-0. They win a game at home and then get trampled.
Nice little gentleman sweep.
Yeah,
of course. So let's move on to the big question. The Brooklyn Nets survived the play-in against the Cavs. They will be traveling to Boston to take on the number 2 seed Celtics, who they were the team of the second half. For what were they? They were kind of low, right?
They were low, especially early on in the season. They were like, at one point, they were as like the 10 seed, 11 seed. They were
went on a huge run, and they finished as the 2, 51-31 record. But they got to face KD and Kyrie and potentially Ben Simmons. I've seen Game 4, Jesse.
Game 3. It's going to be when probably 3 or 4 is when I'm assuming. Probably. That's what I'm thinking is probably Game 3, Game 4.
This is a big series, Jesse. What are you thinking?
I mean, it's interesting to say the least. It's a coin flip for me, honestly. Like this is pretty tough. There's so many different things that you can look at and like point to of why one team is kind of who they should be favored or who shouldn't be favored. I'm gonna go. I feel like Nets in 6 is my prediction. I think Robert Williams being out is huge. And a lot of people aren't talking about it because Marcus Smart is getting a lot of defensive player of the year love, but Robert Williams was a massive, huge part of that defense. And without him, that switch heavy defense is going to be really tough for the Celtics to use against Durant and Irving, because if you're switching Al Horford or Daniel Tice onto Kevin Durant or Kyrie,
it's over.
Like I don't think you can legitimately do that. But then if you start doubling and Ben Simmons comes back, like everything from the double team, right, that we've seen so far, if you watch the Nets and Cavs game, is as soon as KD touched the ball, he was doubled. He had to dish off to Bruce Brown. Well, if Bruce Brown and Ben Simmons can cut those minutes, and now you're trying to double KD, and he's throwing it out to either Kyrie or Ben Simmons, who are incredible playmakers, I think Boston really has to kind of adjust their defense in a way that I don't know if they can fully for this series.
See, my only thing against that is, what is Ben Simmons? Like,
I think even if he's 15 to 20 minutes off the bench,
but dude hasn't played in 10 months. We know how people come back from injuries and stuff, like,
for sure.
Especially defenders, how defenders come back. Look at like Klay Thompson. He's not the same as he was. I mean, he's still great.
Well, okay, he tore his ACL like twice.
Yeah, but
popped his Achilles.
Still, it's different when you're a primary defender like Ben Simmons. Like, I honestly think Ben Simmons playing is going to be the weakness and the fault for the Nets in this. I think it's going to mess up with their whole rotations. I think it's going to mess up everything in general, and that's why I'm taking Boston in 7.
My thing is, if he I don't think he can mess up rotations when the minutes he's probably going to be taking is from Kessler Edwards or the recently released James Johnson. He has to be better than that. Like, I don't think there's a way that he's worse.
We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know.
I honestly like.
And he's really not going to be playing Philly unless it's the Eastern Conference Finals. So that's why he's probably coming back too. So he knows he doesn't have to play until then and can get in shape before then if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Because guarantee if they were in the same bracket side as Philly, he wouldn't be coming back.
I wouldn't want him to because we wouldn't need him to beat Philly. We could beat him without Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
We would wash them. I don't have a doubt about that.
So, Jesse, little update here. Woj yesterday said there's a very real possibility Robert Williams could return at some point in the series. Game 6 would leave it 1 month after he got his meniscus surgery.
The meniscus surgery is 4 to 6 weeks.
So is potential, really according to Woj. It'd be tough, but if you're close at that point, I have a real tough time betting against KD. I've seen that guy just take over games like nobody else can. Would have looked great in a Knick uniform, but he's in Brooklyn.
I guess we'll never know.
And this is what, year 5 of the Celtics saying this is their year. I don't think it is. I mean, they look great this whole season. Do you need Tatum and Brown to play the series of their lives? I just don't think they can get past the Nets. It's funny because Bruce, I don't know if you saw, Jesse, Bruce Brown was like, with Robert Williams out, we could take on Al Horford, and KD was like, the Celtics are still really good.
Yeah, Bruce Brown needs to like calm down.
That's why I respect KD. He doesn't talk trash. He lets the game talk for itself. I love it. That's why I love KD.
Oh, but he trash talks on the court. Oh,
he does. Not like, because that's adding like motivation too. To like, that's adding motivation.
I mean,
Boston right now.
Here's the thing that I hate is like it's probably going to motivate Tatum and Brown. I don't care if it motivates Horford and Tice because it's like, he's not wrong, but Tice like just don't say it. Garbage. You don't need that extra fuel when like you can just be like, look, like those are good players. Like they're gonna fill in, like they know their roles and stuff. You don't need to do that. But Bruce is definitely feeling himself after having an incredible he's been so good since Harden got traded. He's legitimately shooting like 45% from 3, averaging like 13 points per game. He's made himself a lot of money.
Yep, this is going to be the KD and Kyrie show, but it is important to notice that they will have to be traveling to Boston for games 1 and 2, game 5 and game 7 if it does get that far. But Clark is riding the Celtics train. Me and Jesse, I think we're going to be going with the Netsies. So the Heat, are they just going to steamroll the Cavs with the Hawks?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think
that
it really matters that much. Maybe Trae Young gets you a game.
Yeah,
here's the best part. Here's the best part about Miami having the 1 seat for them is that they don't have to shorten their rotations at all for this first series. They can let all their players play. They can still run that 10-man deep rotation instead of cutting it down to 8.
Yeah. Get Oladipo some minutes. I mean, if it's Cleveland, I say Heat in 4. If it's Atlanta, I say Heat in 5.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, Heat have a deep roster, and honestly, as the 1 seed still, they're still not getting talked about, and that's fine. I'm okay with them not getting talked about, but if they, advance a round or 2 and are back in the Eastern Conference Finals somehow. Just say.
If they advance around, I mean, they probably end up getting Brooklyn. So It's either,
Jesse, you've been saying it for like a year now.
It's either Brooklyn, it's either Brooklyn or it's probably like Philly.
Yeah.
So I think
Jimmy Butler revenge game, baby.
Oh,
hey, we have a Kyrie revenge game too in the first round.
Yeah, again.
After he promised to re-sign with the Celtics.
Imagine if the Cavs
After he already did it last year.
Just like, the whole Kyrie revenge tour if the Cavs get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Why does everybody forget that he just beat them last year? Like everybody's like, "Oh, gotta exercise the Celtics defense." They crushed them.
Yeah, no, he did. I don't think there's much to talk about here.
Yep. Cavs maybe can be interesting next year when they're healthy again. Maybe they flip Colin Sexton into something in the offseason with like a sign and trade type thing.
So the Heat most likely going to be moving on in the first round. So let's move on to the West here, and we'll start right in the middle again. Dallas at the 4 seed, presumably without Luka for at least the game 1. Going up against Utah, who another year had the best record in the NBA for a while, then kind of fizzled out. And they have a lot of drama going on there with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, reportedly just hate each other.
Yeah.
So
this is a tough one. There's honestly, I think, Luka's a factor for sure. 100%. He is that team. I honestly don't think though they could carry the load Luka has on all their own. So Utah
not on a bad cap.
Either one of these teams is a second round exit, no matter what.
Yeah, I think, no matter who wins here's out after.
So I'll go Utah in 5, 6. I think that's fair.
Yeah, if Luka's not going to be Luka, which I don't think he can be. I mean, to be fair, Luka on like one leg did take the Clips to like 7, pretty much by himself. But I think this is different. He just got hurt. He just got injured. I think Jazz in probably 5. Maybe Luka comes back by like game 4.
Makes it a little tougher. Yeah, but it'll already be too late. It'll already be too late, which sucks because I love Luka and I love that team, but
yeah, I am also going to say Jazz in 5. Donovan Mitchell and Gobert.
If Luka was fully healthy, by the way, if Luka is fully healthy going into this, I'd take Dallas in probably 6.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a huge. It changes everything.
A top 10 player in the league. So it's hard to lose out on a superstar like that. So we are all riding the train to Utah in this first round. The Golden State Warriors back atop the standings, going up against the presumed MVP Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets, without Jamal Murray, still without Michael Porter Jr. still. Do we see Warriors getting past pretty easily, or does Jokic kind of carry the Nuggets?
I think Jokic gets you a game or 2, probably maybe 3. I want to say Warriors in probably 6, 7-ish. I think Jokic can carry you a lot harder than like most superstars can. He did it the whole year.
Yeah.
Again, with the injuries, if the injuries weren't a thing, I'm taking Denver in this series.
I'm going to say this. While I thought the Warriors and Timberwolves were going to play for a long time, I thought the Timberwolves would beat the Warriors, and I still think that. I don't think this team can beat the Warriors, though.
I think Jokic carries to game 7, but I'm going to take the Warriors. I'm going to take the Warriors, though.
Yeah, I think Warriors in 6 or 7 for me as well. Jokic, I think, wins you 2 games. But when your second best player is a rotation of Barton,
Aaron Gordon,
Monty Morris some nights, Bones Highland some nights, like that's your rotation of a secondary player. Meanwhile, like the Warriors have Steph, they have Jordan Poole, they have, a guy in Wiggins, Draymond, and then you have Clay, who's, not been what he is, but, he's still Clay. He still has that ability.
Yeah, I am also going to go with the Warriors. I'm going to go the Warriors in 5. I think Steph is just awesome. And the way this team has played for the Warriors.
You think Steph's going to be fine? Like he's just going to come. He's just.
Yeah. I mean, this guy can have like one leg and still just drop. Go 7 for 7 from 3. Nuggets without Facundo Campazzo, Jesse. I know that's your
they're
boy,
without
so.
Campazzo too.
Campazzo.
He shoved
He's
someone.
kind of dirty, dude. He's kind of a dirty
He got
player.
a fight and got suspended for game 1.
Yeah, he's kind of a douche.
Yeah, but the Warriors looking to regain the title, and we think they will get past the Nuggets first round.
Yeah.
Now, the surprise of the season, the Memphis Grizzlies finish as the 2, and they will be going up against the young Timberwolves.
Steve loves the Timberwolves.
I like the Timberwolves. I'm a Timberwolves guy too.
Oof. Do they have enough to take down the the non-experienced Grizzlies?
I think they're
not if Ja's not okay, which I think he is.
I think he's good. I
think
he's
good
too.
too.
I think they were just cautious because they could have been.
But I think the T-Wolves have a good chance here. I
agree.
really do. It's the experience. I mean, I feel like Memphis is going to play with the chip on their shoulder too, a little bit. With all the whole things with Minnesota going on. Man, this is tough. I think that these Western Conference games are going to go a couple more longer games than the Eastern ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go Minnesota in 6.
I'm going to go Memphis in 7. I think everybody wins every game at home.
Oh, wow.
I think Minnesota and Memphis are both going to be like insanely loud.
It's going to be a fun season.
They're going to be
a fun series to watch.
To be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And this is the most fun series like I'm looking forward to of like not my team, but just like interested to watch.
I'm with you on that for sure.
And it's tough because who's going to guard Cat? Jaren Jackson?
Who guards Cat if he sucks? I mean,
it's a fair point. He had a really bad play-in game. Yep. Love me some Edwards. He's a stud.
I know how I feel about D'Lo. Gotta give D'Lo love.
Man, former net legend. Then they ripped him. They
traded him. Hey, traded him for Durant. You're welcome, buddy.
So weird.
Gave him a max. Traded him for Durant.
There you go.
Only good by him.
He has to thank Sean Marks for all those millions.
For the 35 million he's getting paid. Seriously.
I really haven't watched a lot of the Grizzlies to have an opinion on this. I really don't.
They're fun. The thing
Ja's
is,
great.
The thing with the Grizzlies, I feel like that is their biggest weakness is they really, really like to run in transition. And I feel like if you take that away and you make them set up in half court, you can see them struggle a little bit more. I don't know if Memphis is the team that's going to take that away, though.
You know, Steven Adams is a really good defender. He could potentially pose a little bit of a problem for Cat. I'm going to go the Timberwolves. I hate to say it, but I'm going to go with the Timberwolves. I think Cat is just not unstoppable. I don't think anybody could stop him unless he does it to himself. You add D'Lo, you add Ant Edwards. I just think the Grizzlies are really, really young. They have a little bit of a future, but I'm going to go with the Timberwolves in 7. No, 6.
Hey, it's like me.
They win at home.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be fun, though. Like you guys said, it's going to be a fun series to watch.
It'll be funny if, like, the Grizzlies dust them in 4.
That would be hilarious, actually.
Oh, God. I kind of be happy, but
so would I. I love that.
So the second place team from last year, the Suns, regain the 1 seed, and they take on the Clippers or the Pelicans. And
doesn't matter. It's a
probably
unless Kawhi comes back and is like fine.
Yeah.
Like
body just comes back. No. Revenge tour. This is the real revenge tour right here.
This is the Suns' year. Like they're running, or at least on the Western side. Like they're
definitely going to the finals. I think
they 100%. Are running through the West. Like they are so motivated and focused, and there's not another really good team in the West.
There's not
at
a
least
threat.
To me.
There's not.
No.
I mean, you could, like, early on in the year, I think people were kind of saying the Warriors. I just don't view them the same. Memphis is super young. Like, this seems just like Phoenix is. They're gonna tear. They're gonna rip through.
It's the Suns and the Heat in the finals. It's the two Sun basketball logos of like fire.
That'd be funny.
That'd be kind of stupid.
So
Suns in 4. Either way.
Suns in 4.
Suns in 4. Now, who is going to be the champion? Do we see a rematch potentially of last year?
The whole, like, we're predicting
The whole
finals
thing?
right
Give me a champion, dude.
I'm not picking against the Nets. I won't do it.
Oh,
I don't
baby.
care.
now. And
I
I'm
don't
not
care.
picking against the Heat. I'm going Suns Heat. And
If I had to go with my head, I mean, I guess Suns, but I'm going Nets. But Suns would be my secondary pick.
the last 2 years of finals losers, the Suns and the Heat in it. So story writes itself right there. Yeah, I'm going Suns Heat in that. And my heart says go with the Heat, of course.
I'm just saying the league is lucky the Knicks did not make it. They're
The Knicks are
lucky.
here, baby.
Back.
I love that, like, the Knicks won like the last 7 of 8 after they got eliminated.
Yeah, they tore up.
Of course they did. Just to kill
Didn't
the
even matter
lottery
how
fucking
far away they were. I thought that was so funny too. I was like, wow, the Knicks are winning a lot of games. And then I
Yep.
went and looked at the standings and I was like, they
Already
are
eliminated.
still so far away.
Yeah.
Yep. And of course now they can't get above 10 or under 10 in the lottery. So kind of screw themselves out there. But I, Stephen Clark, will be picking the good old Milwaukee Bucks. And this is not to razz on you guys either. I just think the Bucks are that team. Giannis is too good. It's going to be tough to get through the East. I'm going to admit that. I think if they face the Nets, they go to 7. If they face the Heat, at least 6 or 7. And the Suns, they kind of beat up on a bit last year. So I'm going to go finals rematch, and the Bucks win it, baby.
Even
Giannis
worse.
Brown's is second.
I mean, I think the biggest thing, especially last year, was that the Bucks stayed healthy when everybody else got beat up. Same thing kind of for the Suns a little bit. They lost Chris Paul a little bit for a short period of time.
Yeah.
But other than that, like those were the two teams that stayed healthy. Let's see if it happens again. Injuries were a huge part of the playoffs last year. I really hope they are not again this year.
Yeah, I mean, only if Harden didn't get hurt.
Dude, there was
That's
a major injury in like
it
almost
seem like
every series. Like Giannis almost tore his ACL. Trey Young was
we just
carried
stunk last year
off at one point. Injuries just left and right everywhere in the playoffs last year.
I just want to win a game this year in the playoffs. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah. Not everyone could do it, man.
I know. We got swept last year.
The Knicksies at least won, baby.
I was so pissed off last year. I mean, this team is a lot better than last year for us, but
Mark,
man.
what are you doing if Omar Yurtseven is starting center? First
Throw
No
Omer at the
problem.
5, throw Bam at the 4. I'm with it. I mean, Bam's a great whatever you want to put. He can play point guard if you want.
As
Bam,
re-signing
honestly.
Myers Leonard for the series.
No, thank you. No,
I don't think
thank you.
anybody's doing that.
Yeah.
He's been unemployed ever since then.
It's going to be a hell of an NBA playoffs. Clark is riding with the Heat. Jesse is sticking with his guts and the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to be picking the Milwaukee Bucks. All teams to come out of the East.
All the East. But did we all pick the Suns to come out of the West? I think we
Yeah.
did, yeah.
I think so.
Yep. Nice.
So we'll see how everything shakes out. Clark, where can people listen?
You know, the YouTube, the Spotify, the Apple Podcast, subscribe and follow on them. Also follow the socials, Sports Death Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That's Sports DEPT Pod. We'll probably, I'd say, do a basketball after every round. That's right. I
Yeah.
think that's good.
That's fair. We have
So
a mock draft
we'll-
coming out, and we'll have a second mock draft out prior to. We are officially 2 weeks away from the draft, Jesse. So we'll probably
Probably
get that
Justin
up
has
like
to get those
a few
out.
days up.
Justin
before.
has to get those
Yeah.
out. No wrestling. I think the pay-per-view in a couple of weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, Punjabi prison, baby.
Okay.
UK prison.
Yeah, pay-per-view in the UK.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Is that
it? I don't know. Maybe no baseball, really. Nothing else. Just
Hey,
basketball,
maybe do
mock
a kind of like
drafts,
a all-star
breakdown.
break.
Yeah, something. We'll figure some crap out. So stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.